I do think that there are people who are resistant to cult behavior or who would never join a cult, though that is kind of scandalous to say because the wisdom in my field is definitely that anyone can join a cult. But I want to add a little bit of nuance to that. I'm Danielle, a scholar of cults, extreme groups, and extremely bad leadership. And unlike many of the other amazing cult experts out there, I was born into a cult. So my book is Uncultured, about growing up in the Children of God religious cult, one of the world's big notorious cults, and then going into the cult of the United States Army. I'm also one of the only cult scholars with military experience. And so I say this. I think it is very dangerous for any individual to consider themselves cult-proof. And this is also me with my military experience. I was the intelligence officer, so I was the expert on the enemy. The way I kept you safe was by knowing everything about the bad guy and the threat so that I could tell you what to expect, right? And so in that way, I don't think any group should consider themselves safe from being a cult. And I don't think any person should consider themselves cult-proof. Like, if I break it down, I think I have a personality that is pretty resistant to cults, and I've proven that throughout my life. And I think that I've surrounded myself with enough people who would call me out on my BS that it would be hard for me to fall for a cult. But I'm still not cult-proof. I don't look at myself that way. But going back to the anyone can join a cult, I think there's some confirmation bias here. And I think this comes from the fact that most experts have either been in cults, were raised in cults, or got their expertise by working with a significant amount of cult survivors. And then you look around and you're like, well, I know all these kinds of people and they're all different and they all joined cults. That must mean anyone can join a cult. And I think there's just one little asterisk there of the people that we don't know that well are the people that would never join cults, right? They're not the ones that show up in that sampling. And so I do think there are some people, right? And there's this very poignant photo, and it's 1939 Poland, and everybody is hiling, and one dude is standing there like this, right? So, like, that dude, statistically insignificant number, but I think there are some people that are just resistant for whatever reasons that is. We don't have enough of them to study, that's for sure. But still, on a personal level, I go back to, like, the best way to protect yourself is, I mean, really, this is what I do. Help you understand groups that have hurt you in the past, groups that are hurting you now, and groups that are going to try to hurt you in the future. If you understand these two, you're going to be able to more easily avoid the groups that try to hurt you in the future. So I'm still just your friendly neighborhood intelligence officer. It's just the, I don't know, cult intelligence now. I don't know what we call it. Cult intelligence. People are always like, what do I do with this? And I'm like, I can think of 100 different applications of knowing a lot about the most extreme group in your lives. So you do you. I am the knitting cult lady. I just knit and talk about cults because there's too much of it in my brain. I had to put it all somewhere. And just coming back to say, like, we see these people, right? We see white Americans supporting abolition. We see people risking their lives to get people out of Germany, right? We see people losing their careers at Victoria's Secret and Playboy to blow the whistle and try to stand up for, you know, the cult members with what was going on there. So we see these people in the larger world resisting the cults and the group mentality in real time. It's just, we don't talk about it that way very often. And if you made it this far, you can get signed copies of Uncultured attached to this video.